Mabuhay, my name is Mia and I am a youth ambassador for the Philippines Pavilion. Folkfest has always been a great platform to showcase the diverse nature of Saskatoon, and in that respect, this year's virtual celebration will be no different. It's a wonderful thing to be able to come together and celebrate multiculturalism. I look forward to watching along with all of you.
Sziasztok, my name is Tia and I am proud to be one of the youth ambassadors for the Hungarian Pavilion. Being a youth ambassador is important to me because not only do I get to represent and inform people about my own culture, but I also am introduced to all of the other cultures at Folkfest. Folkfest is about bringing diverse cultures together, and being an ambassador is just one way that I can be a part of it. We hope you enjoyed this year's virtual cultural showcase, and be sure to watch out for my fellow youth ambassadors in Folkfest Spotlight on Youth.
Hello and welcome to Folkfest Gives Back, Connecting Through Culture. I'm Lenore Swiston, Vice President of the Saskatoon Folk Festival Board of Directors. This live stream event, as well as all of the recorded performances, are taking place on Treaty 6 territory in the homeland of the Metis. As we celebrate the many cultural communities which now call Saskatoon home, we want to reaffirm our relationship with each other and with this land. Over the course of our time together, you will see wonderful, diverse, cultural performances from many of the Folkfest pavilions you know and love, as well as original live music from Oral Fantas, who's here in the crowd with us at from the Oral Fantas Reggae Band, and thanks to our partners at the Sasktel Saskatchewan Jazz Festival. You can tell we're still working on this as we go. This is really live. This is awesome and it's exciting. And though it's not the Folkfest we'd wanted, this is the Folkfest that we hope will bring us even closer together for many, many years to come. So we are delighted that our 2020 Youth Ambassador prepared a special spotlight on youth performance, as well as sharing some of their special thoughts with you, as we just saw in the introductory videos. I now would like to throw it over to Neil Irvine, our esteemed Folkfest board president, who always has something, a little ad lib to say.
Well, I'm still lost at sort of number one ad lib and number one esteemed, or number two esteemed. But I just want to say a few words to take a moment and thank our Folkfest members. We have 21 cultural groups that comprise our community, and for supporting us in this project. We appreciate everyone's input, their feedback. We're delighted that so many of our pavilions have been able to enthusiastically participate in this evening's showcase. A lot of this evening's events have taken great care and hard work has gone into preparing them and putting them together for dances, songs, and cooking demonstrations. Obviously, the cooking I like. It's good for me, and that's what we're all about, is creating that experience, and I hope you're going to enjoy that with us. This year's Folkfest is all about giving back. And giving back the love and support that our patrons have given us for over 40 years. Through this free evening of cultural performances, in that same spirit of giving, we would like to encourage you all to donate, if you can, to our chosen charity of this festival, which is the Saskatoon Food Bank. Please see the links in the comments below or in the comments as they go on. And also there's a custom donation page that is on our website. And we want you to, obviously, it's a bit like a ring those phones. Let's get on there and give some money back as we create this giving back atmosphere today. We hope you enjoy the show. While you're watching, be sure to give us some real-time feedback. Let us know what you're looking for. Let us know what you're looking at, what you enjoy, and maybe share some comments on past Folkfests of the events that you'd love to attend. Let's create some live chat and conversations. We have people that can respond to you right away. And you're also going to discover additional information or details about the performances that are coming up this evening. Enough from me messing up. We're going to get back to the professional on the stage, and we're going over here to Lenore.
Oh, we're all in this together, Will, and that's the whole thing. Is thanks for everybody for tuning in. You know, events, even virtual ones like this, require significant resources, and this showcase would not be possible without the generous support of many sponsors. And we're going to be, scrolling through them all through the night tonight, and we're going to really be emphasizing their contribution as we go along and at the end. So stay tuned because we've got lots to say, and it's really important to have our our sponsors, because without them, this can't go on. So please support them when you see them out and about. We also want to generously acknowledge the generous support of the City of Saskatoon and have greetings from Mayor Charlie Clark and the Executive Director of the Multicultural Council of Saskatchewan, Rhonda Rosenberg. And following that, we kick off the show with a performance from Grupo Maya. This is a group typically involved with the main entertainment for the Central America and Mexican Pavilion through a variety of traditional dances. So let's go there.
Hello, Saskatoon. I'm Charlie Clark, the mayor of our great city, and it is my pleasure to welcome everyone to Folkfest 2020, the virtual edition, here on Treaty 6 territory and the traditional homeland of the Métis. For over 40 years, Folkfest has been a major celebration in our community, and every year it serves as an annual reminder about the importance of coming together and seeing beyond our differences. Every year I find it so inspiring to see the thousands of hours of volunteer time that people put in to make the amazing pavilions come alive, and to see the friendships made between pavilion volunteers and with the guests who come to enjoy the food and the performances. Even though this year's celebration looks different due to physical distancing, the message that we are stronger as a city because of our diversity, not in spite of it, is as important as ever. It's a reminder that we must overcome discrimination and division and instead work together for our shared future. I would like to thank the organizers of Folkfest and all the different groups for adapting to these different times. Folkfest is an institution in our community, and I know that summer in Saskatoon just wouldn't be the same without it. In times where we have to be physically separated, it becomes even more important that we do everything we can to reinforce the connections and ties that we share. I wish the organizers and volunteers all the best, and I hope that all of those virtually participating enjoy experiencing what our community has to offer. Happy Folkfest.
Hi, I'm Rhonda Rosenberg, Executive Director of the Multicultural Council of Saskatchewan. We are so proud to be a sponsor of Folkfest this summer and every year. For over 40 years, Folkfest has been bringing a celebration of cultural diversity to Saskatoon, and they've always been such strong proponents of two of the streams of work that MCAS supports: cultural continuity, with every one of the pavilions really being able to showcase the highlights of their culture, as well as bringing people together to share cultures. And now we're seeing, even this year in a virtual environment, bringing together the youth ambassadors to share cultures with each other and have a real intercultural connections experience. So we are delighted, even in this year when we need to stay apart, that Folkfest was able to create a virtual festival that will be happening on August 15th, and we're looking forward to enjoying that together.
El pueblo salvadoreño tiene el cielo por sombrero. El Salvador, salsa clave te canta. El pueblo salvadoreño tiene el cielo por sombrero. Tan alta es su dignidad, en la búsqueda del tiempo
What a fantastic start. Those skirts were just mesmerizing. Joining me now is Winnie Musawanga. Winnie, you know, you're from the Folkfest. We've been sitting as board members. Welcome. Tell us about the next thing that's going to happen here.
Thanks, Lino. Next up is Jennifer, representing the Chinese Pavilion. She will be performing Luoyang River on the Rushan, a traditional Chinese plucked string instrument with a 2,000-year history. Can you believe it? Mm-hmm. And will be followed by a selection of dances from the Scottish Pavilion and the Saskatoon Highland Dance Association.
Those were some fantastic performances. It is so heartwarming to see our local youth, learning traditional elements. Luckily, the Highland dancers lends themselves really well, to physically distancing, Winnie. But, you'll see throughout the show that some of our performances had to get a little creative with their adaptations. Winnie, what's up next?
Okay, so we have a bottle dance, which is traditionally performed by Hungarian women as a way to show off their talent at carrying food and drink. While not usually performed by dancers as young as the ones we will see here, it is such a beloved dance that the Pavilion agreed to bend the tradition a little.
So you know what? We're going to go right to the next segment here. So with that, I'm just going to throw this back to Winnie. Thanks so much for everybody's patience with this. Winnie, tell us about the next segment here with the Irish Pavilion.
Now we have a mainstay of the Irish Pavilion, Ray Richards, performing Fare Thee Well, Enniskillen. This song was used as the quick march song for the Enniskillen Dragoons. This year, albeit virtually, marks Ray's 22nd year performing for the Irish Pavilion. Following his folk song is a video from the Indian and Metis Pavilion showcasing the male fancy feather dance and sharing a little of its storied history.
Our troop was made ready at the dawn of the day. Lovely Enniskillen, they were marching us away. They put us then on board a ship to cross that raging main, to fight in bloody battle in the sunny land of Spain. Fare thee well, Enniskillen, fare thee well for a while. All around the borders of Erin's Green Isle, when the war is over, we'll return in full bloom, and you'll all welcome home the Enniskillen Dragoons. Now Spain, it is a gallant land where wine and ale flow free. There's lots of lovely women there to dandle on your knee. Often in a tavern there we'd make the rafters ring, when every soldier in the house would raise his glass and sing. Fare thee well, Enniskillen, fare thee well for a while. All around the borders of Erin's Green Isle, when the war is over, we'll return in full plume, and we'll all welcome home the Enniskillen Dragoons. We fought for Ireland's glory there in many a man did fall. From musket and from bayonet and from thunder and cannonball. Many a foeman we laid low amid the battle throng. And as we prepared for action, you would often hear this song. Fare thee well in Enniskillen, fare thee well for a while. All around the borders of Erin's Green Isle. When the war is over, we'll return in full bloom, and you'll all welcome home the Enniskillen Dragoons. Well, now the fighting's over, and for home we have set sail. The flag about this lofty ship is fluttering in the gale. They've given us a pension, boys, of 4p each a day. And when we reach Enniskillen, never more we'll have to say, fare thee well, Enniskillen, fare thee well for a while. All around the borders of Erin's Green Isle. When the war is over, we'll return in full bloom, and you'll all welcome home the Enniskillen Dragoons.
The Male Fancy Feather Dance was created in the 1800s from indigenous people who performed in the Wild Bill Cody's Wild West show. The reason for this creation was the audience was starting to disappear from seeing the same show over and over again. So Wild Bill got with the indigenous performers and talked with them, asked them to create a new dance. This dance came upon them from a war dance that they used to do back in the days. The war dance itself is an endurance dance where young males would compete against each other to be the last one standing. The last one standing would be the scout for the hunting parties. So this male would have to run for days and days to track down the buffalo and locate them. He then would come back and tell the hunting party where and which direction to go in for the buffalo and the buffalo hunt. And once they got this dance into the show, the audience started to come back, and they wowed the audience. And it's just something to test our young people's endurance nowadays. It's like playing a sport, and just remember that when these young males come out, they do not stretch, they do not warm up or anything, they just get right into it. That's our fancy feather dance.
It was wonderful to learn about the fancy feather dance. As you've already seen and will continue to see throughout the show, some of this year's entertainment was professionally filmed by our dedicated partners, Mayoral. Thank you so much to them and the crew that's all here. While others were carefully assembled by Pavilion volunteers, and thanks to them and doing what they did to be so creative to make this happen. That combination of creativity really captures the spirit of Folkfest we see every year, from the long-running pavilions who fill large halls at night to new communities who may start off with just a single table and a whole lot of passion. And you know what? That passion carries over to my good colleague here, Robert Mello. And you know what, Robert? We just had a little glitch here, and I think it was a Hungarian glitch. So I think it had a little bit to do with a bottle and maybe a little bit too much drinking before, but we're going to try to get that glitch coming back here in a little bit. So Robert,
maybe the boys drink all the drink out of the bottles.
That's right. So Robert, tell us what's coming up here next.
Thank you, Lenore. Some of the more special submission we've had this year are the cooking demonstrations. We know that a lot of you look forward to the food at Folkfest all year. By inviting us into their home kitchen, they have given us the opportunity to learn a bit more about the food that is at the heart of so many cultures. Our first cooking demonstration this evening comes from the Pakistan Pavilion, showing us how to make chicken karai. You will be able to find this full video on and recipes for all the cooking demonstration on Saskatoon Folkfest website. We will do our best to have everything up in the next week or so. After that, we're heading back to the Scottish Pavilion for the traditional folk song from Emma and Paul. While you're enjoying these next couple of videos, don't forget to consider donating to the Saskatoon Food Bank. Visit our website or social media page.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Robert.
Assalamualaikum, welcome to Soul Sisters Kitchen. Today I'll show you all how to make chicken kadai. We also call it Lahori chicken kadai. And with the same masala, you can even make mutton kadai too. So you can see I have roughly grounded the masala. This is the way it should look. Then heat some oil in a pot and add onions to it once the oil is piping hot. And fry the onions till it's light brown. So when the onion turns brown, add the diced tomatoes. And cook it till the tomatoes turn soft. After adding the tomatoes, cover and cook it on low to medium flame for some time till they turn soft. And now add the ginger garlic paste. And also add the powdered masala. Roast on for a few minutes. Now add the chicken pieces after the masala. After mixing the chicken, add salt as per as taste. And again mix it nicely. And now cover and cook it for a few minutes on medium flame. And now it's the time to add the yogurt. So I have whisked the yogurt with a fork and now add the yogurt to the chicken. Turn the gas to low and mix it. So after yogurt, now add the dry fenugreek leaves. And also add some coriander leaves, keep some for later garnish, and some green chilies, and little sliced ginger. And give it a mix. Now again, cover and cook it on low to medium flame till the chicken is cooked well. So the chicken is cooked well. Finally, I'll add the remaining coriander and just cook it for 2 more minutes without the cover, and this is ready to serve them. So our chicken kadai is ready to serve now. You can serve it with parathas, tandoori roti, or even chapati. And as you have seen that I haven't added any water for the chicken kadai, but if you are making mutton kadai, then do add water in it. And that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Do try this recipe and give us feedback when you try it. Masalam.
Oh, the water is white. I cannot grow sore. Well, neither have I the wings to fly. Build me a boat that can carry two. My back on a fine young oak. I thought it was a trusty tree, but first it bended and then it broke, as did my love, prove false to me. Oh, love is fair.
What a beautiful traditional song, Robert. And that it looked amazing, and we're already getting comments on social media that they wish they could order it right now. So, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the tremendous amount of work that went into all the performances, but especially these cooking demonstrations, because this went way beyond the typical Folkfest performance our volunteers are used to doing. So let's not forget, for those of you that are tuning in, to shout out and give your thoughts about what you're seeing in terms of those recipes. Know that you can get them online later, and wherever you are throughout the world, you can please comment, because those comments help to let us know how this is going tonight. So, Robert, tell us a little bit about this next segment, because this is an important one.
You got it, Lenore. Our next segment is the Spotlight on Youth, our celebration of the future leaders of Folkfest. We know that getting youth involved and excited is one of the most important ways we can keep the spirit of Folkfest alive. Every year, pavilions fulfill this goal in many ways, including featuring their youngest on the performance stage and putting forward youth ambassadors to represent their pavilion. The Youth Ambassadors program was introduced in 1983 as an opportunity for young people to meet, exchange ideas, and learn about each other's cultural heritage. Youth ambassadors are passionate about their culture and eager to be leaders in their community. This year, they went further, showed initiative and dedication by virtually choreographing and learning a dance, all without meeting in person until the final performance recording. Without further ado, please enjoy Folkfest's Spirit on Youth, starting with some of very young, perhaps future youth ambassador, with their beginner dance performance.
Awesome.
Namaste. My name is Anjali and I'm a youth ambassador for the India Pavilion. Being involved with Folkfest as a youth ambassador has been amazing. I'm so grateful that I've been able to meet new people and learn about their cultures while also sharing my own. I appreciate the opportunity to experience the cultural diversity within Saskatoon.
Cade Milifolce from the Irish Pavilion. I'm Jade and I'm a youth ambassador. I'm delighted to be part of bringing a little bit of Folkfest to you at home. Folkfest means so much to me because it gives me a chance to share my diversity and culture with others and have the chance to learn about theirs too.
My name is Muiz Rafiki, and it's with great pride that I introduce the Folkfest Spotlight on Youth. Here are the youth ambassadors for the Philippines, Hungarian, and Irish pavilions performing their heritage dance. And now for the second part of our intercultural performance, here are the Indian, Greek, and Scottish pavilions.
Δες καμιά φορά η ζωή εκπλήξεις που σου κρύβει, μέσα σε έχει κι αξαφνά σε βγάζει από το παιχνίδι. Δες αγάπη μου κι εσύ τι μου είχες φυλαγμένο, νόμιζα πως μ' αγαπάς μα μ' είχες τελειωμένο.
सुबह तक मान के मेरी बात तू ऐसे जोर से नाची आज के घुंघरू टूट गए, के घुंघरू टूट गए। छोड़ के सारे शर्म मैं ऐसे जोर से नाची आज.
Folkfest from the Scottish Pavilion. I'm Katie and I'm excited to be a youth ambassador. I love sharing my culture with our community and embracing the diversity within our city. I think it's beautiful that everyone has a place to share their heritage and traditions.
Namaste. My name is Prapti and I'm a youth ambassador for Indian Pavilion. Indian culture is the best thing that could happen to me with its uniqueness and beliefs. It is unique and diverse just as other cultures. Folkfest has helped everyone learn about different cultures by bringing many people together and showing different beliefs and ethnicities around the world. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Marie and I am a youth ambassador for this year's Scottish Pavilion. I am so happy to have a chance to experience other cultures and learn more about my own, while also meeting amazing people and growing as a community. I hope you're enjoying this year's performances.
Welcome back, everybody, and I'm pretty sure you've enjoyed watching our little ones strutting their stuff. It's always awesome, isn't it? We are so proud of our youth, and we think we've just witnessed some of our future ambassadors and youth ambassadors and really serious adolescent dancers growing into adult dancers. It's just cool to watch. It's probably my most favorite part of Folkfest. We're always proud of our youth, as I said, and our youth ambassadors, they deserve a special mention. Once again, they have exceeded themselves and exceeded our expectations this year. Sticking on the theme of ambassadorship, I'm going to introduce, at my great pleasure, Christine Wright, a Folkfest 2020 Honorary Ambassador. So, Christine, welcome to the set.
Well, thank you, Neil. I'm pleased to be here.
And while we're here, let's talk about the ambassador program and how it feels to be the honorary ambassador this year.
I am so proud and so pleased. When I look at the list of previous honorary ambassadors, they're quite the footsteps to follow. You had to have dedication for your community and volunteerism, and some of the people are just amazing. So I'm so proud to be part of the group.
And it's obviously a fantastic honor for us to have you. The Folkfest Ambassador Program has always been a fantastic way of getting youth involved and getting some of our respected elders involved and keeping them involved in Folkfest. So it's a fantastic thing for us to have you. And I believe your father was an ambassador for the Dutch Pavilion back in the day, was he?
Yes, both my parents were heavily involved. That's why I also became heavily involved, and my father was also an honorary ambassador one year. So very proud to be part of that group.
Awesome. We'll come back again and chat a little bit more. We are absolutely delighted to have a chance to partner with the Sasktel Saskatchewan Jazz Festival. We are grateful for their generous sponsorship, which has allowed us to include live music as part of our tonight's showcase. Oro Fuente's musical experience started in his home country of Belize, where he was involved in multicultural band. Since then, Oral has traveled extensively. His musical styles include reggae, soca, punta rock, and Burkdown. I hope I have not messed that up too much. Both musical styles from Belize. With other Caribbean and Latin American rhythms, we are very excited to have Oral and his band, who have been part of Saskatoon's musical scene from 1992, with us here tonight. Their high energy and flair through original world music will be heard by us all tonight, so let's take it away, Oral.
You rock, so, oh my. You skank, so, oh why. You move, so, oh my. You groove, so, oh why. I might come from Belmopan, Belize, I say the 501, coming to the 306. How can I resist serving the 888, the one that pulled me through that narrow gate? Raise your hand and don't you hesitate. Raise your voice and celebrate. You rock, so, oh my. You skank, so, so, oh my. You groove, so, oh from my youth, eating up, I say, the bad fruit. Granny couldn't even control we, losing respect and family. Some in jail, some shut down. This is where I came from. This is how it used to be. Before love got a hold of we. Now love come and we want more. Closing up this hatred door. The things I used to do, I do no more. I used to see just down my street. Now I see the whole world in need. You rock, so, oh my. You skank, so, oh my. You move, so, oh my. You groove, so, oh my. Creole, Creole, Creole. Rock mamacita, rock me back, I'm feeling good, just like that. Rock mamacita, rock me back, I'm feeling good, just like that. Rock mamacita, rock me back, I'm feeling good, just like that. Rock mamacita, rock me back, I'm feeling good, just like that. Say what I mean what I say. I'm Creole man, and I am not ashamed. So many people, them afraid to be. If you're Creole, then you are free. Creole, 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 Creole. Rock mamacita, rock me back, I'm feeling good, just like that. Rock mamacita, rock me back, I'm feeling good, just like that. Rock mamacita, rock me back, I'm feeling good, just like that. Rock mamacita, rock me back, I'm feeling good, just like that. Rock mamacita, rock me back, I'm feeling good, just like that. Rock mamacita, rock me back, I'm feeling good, just like that. Rock mamacita, rock me back, I'm feeling good, just like that. Rock mamacita, rock me back, I'm feeling good, just like that. Creole from Belize, that way they go on. Some people are ashamed of them language, man. Just want to speak the Queen English, but when they come to culture, they love up the Creole dish. Creole, 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 Creole. Rock mamacita, rock me back, I'm feeling good, just like that. Rock mamacita, rock me back, I'm feeling good, just like that. Rock mamacita, rock me back, I'm feeling good, just like that. Rock mamacita, rock me back, I'm feeling good, just like that. Rock mamacita, rock me back, I'm feeling good, just like that. Rock mamacita, rock me back, I'm feeling good, just like that. Rock mamacita, rock me back, I'm feeling good, just like that. Rock mamacita, rock me back, I'm feeling good, just like that. I'm feeling good, 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 I'm feeling good.
Well done, everybody. And if for all of you out there, I hope you're feeling good just like that. So thank you to Oral and the band for what was an outstanding first performance of the evening. We will be welcoming them back for one more set later on in the show, so please stay tuned. Thank you again, Oral and the band. Thanks, guys. Back over to you. How do you follow that one up?
That's
Wow.
amazing, amazing. So we do have to mention that this year does mark an important milestone. 40 years ago, an idea was born to host a festival of pavilions in order to promote mutual understanding through cultural activities. Decades later, Folkfest has become an institution as thousands of Saskatonians and tourists come together each summer to celebrate culture and diversity. No one could have guessed what Folkfest would look like in its 40th year, and we know that this year has been a great challenge for many of us. When it became clear that an in-person Folkfest wouldn't be possible this year, the board was determined that it would find a way to stay true to our vision, to create an unparalleled multicultural experience while keeping health and safety a priority. At a time when our community and our world is physically separated, the reminders of the connections that we share through culture are more important than ever.
I couldn't have said it better. That's why you're here. So again, I just want to thank you, Christine, for joining us on the show tonight and servicing as our honorary ambassador. It is a position that you gratefully deserve, and we are very, very happy to have you. But volunteering in Saskatchewan, I learned that when I arrived here some 20 years ago, that volunteering in Saskatoon and Saskatchewan is just one of those things that you do. So what's your earliest experience of Folkfest or volunteering?
Well, it's my 41st year working with Folkfest. I've been fortunate to have many roles within the Dutch Pavilion. There is such a family feel that's involved within each pavilion. Many of the volunteers are like extended family members, and the only time you really see them is when it comes to Folkfest. So I know that family feel, it exudes across with the participants who come to the pavilion, and I think it's shone through every year.
And some of the things that people may not understand or get about Folkfest is it takes over 5,000 man-hours, volunteer man-hours every single year to put this on or put our normal festival on, and that's been going for now into its 41st year. So somebody else can do that math and comment on one of the chat lines, because I can't do that math that quick. So Folkfest needs a lot of volunteers, and it takes a lot of hard work and dedication to put it on. We have some people in the room here today that are just awesome. We have an awesome team, from the board to our pavilion managers to our department managers within the pavilion, and just volunteers in general. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you very much for all of your volunteer time in past years, and we look forward to seeing you again next year. Next year, what are you looking forward to most?
Getting back, tasting the food, smelling the smells, hearing the entertainment, seeing the excitement, seeing the families out, just everything.
Perfect. Can't wait to see it myself.
Yeah.
So we've had a great time to share some of those performances so far, and thanks everyone for being a part of a little bit of Folkfest history tonight. For hopefully we only get to do this once, but if we have to do it again, we got a little bit more experience in doing that. If you're enjoying the show, please think about making a donation to the food bank. There are people that are just not as well off as we are, or not as able to provide as some people can. So let's donate wisely and show our Saskatoon and Saskatchewan spirit. Saskatoon Food Bank needs the help, so let's step up. If you're just joining us, welcome, and don't worry, the whole showcase will be available on our Facebook and YouTube channels. Although we are disappointed that we are unable to have the festival in its usual format this year, tonight's performances will give you a taste of the amazing atmosphere that our pavilions create for the tens of thousands of visitors that we have each year. Now, let's get back to the show. Next up, we have a cooking demonstration from the Bangladesh Pavilion. They will be showing us how to make ilish pilau. So let's get on to that, because I'm hungry.
Welcome to the Bangladeshi segment of Folkfest. I am Tasnuba from Bangladeshi Community Association of Saskatchewan, and I do have Nazmun Nahar with me. She is the Women's Secretary of Bangladeshi Community Association of Saskatchewan. Bangladesh is a beautiful country within South Asia, which is full of lots of greeneries and rivers. We have about 700 rivers in Bangladesh. We have one of the largest variety of fishes in these rivers. There are about 475 marine fishes, and there are about 260 sweetwater fishes. Bangladeshi people love food, and one of the best thing about Bangladeshi dishes are that we do use a lot of flavor and a lot of spices. As you can see in front of me, I do have a lots of flavors and spices, and these are only a few of the ones that we use in our traditional food. So we're gonna make a traditional Bangladeshi food today. So Apu, what are you making today?
We are going to cook ilish pulao.
That sounds exciting. So these are all the ingredients that we will be needing to make the dish today. On my left, I have the ilish fish, which is the national fish of Bangladesh. It is very tasty and very popular. The next thing I have is kalejira rice that we will be needing to make the dish as well. This rice is only produced in Bangladesh. So this is the traditional grinder that we use to mix all the spices. We do use most of our spices, we do make them from scratch, and it is called shilpata. We'll also be needing some ghee. These ghees are homemade. So now you're adding ghee to a hot pan. That's the first step. And now you're adding all the ingredients and making a sauce. So now our sauce is ready, and we are gonna add the fish into the sauce. And now we are preparing the rice.
얘기하면 정말 좋지만
Now our rice and fish both are ready. We are going to mix them together and we are going to cook for another 20 to 25 minutes. Now we are covering the fish with another layer of rice. So our cooking is done and this is our final dish. And I can tell you it smells amazing. It's gonna taste amazing too. Thank you for watching.
Okay, now didn't that look delicious? I mean, I tell you, this is about giving back through our culture together. Okay, so let's
Definitely.
not forget that. Let's give back to the food bank. Let's give back to that. Shout out to our ambassador and to, of course, our presidente, Mr. Irvine. So that is fantastic, So let's not remember that all those cooking demonstrations are available on the website. So Robert, what do we got coming up next here?
Up next, from the Irish Pavilion, we have the Parade of Champions and the two-hand reel. While we had to ask most of our performers to adapt with the social distancing guidelines, this reel is danced by mother and daughter. So we are delighted to include this one.
That's awesome. Right on. You know, those were some stellar performances from the River City School of Irish Dance. You know, the mother and daughters who are marking a milestone. It's their 20th year of dancing and volunteering for Folkfest. So be sure to let us know that you're enjoying the show in the comments, because that really does help us. And don't forget, this is about giving back, so don't forget about giving back to the food bank. You know, I've got Gabe here now, Gabe Eng, who's our Folkfest board treasurer, so you're all things with that in terms of banks. And so, you know, welcome to the show, Gabe. What's up with us? What's up next here?
So, hi, Lenore. So, up next here, you know, we've got a song which is thought to have been composed during the Red River Rebellion of 1870. It tells the story of a young Métis woman lamenting the departure of her lover, who came west to suppress the rebellion. So here is Crystal Peterson with Red River Valley, representing the Indian and Métis Pavilion.
I will miss you, bright eyes and sweet smile. For they say you are taking the sunshine that has brightened our path.
those vocals that we just heard are amazing. I mean, just this is an incredible, Gabe, what we're seeing. And just, if you've never attended a folk fest, like, come, tell your friends to tune into this afterwards. Watch it because you get the flavor of what Folkfest is all about. So, this is what makes, Folkfest. And we're able to bring that taste to people that can't just get there in person. So that may be the little bit hidden secret or value of this time that we're in right now. So, Gabe, tell us what's coming up next year.
Definitely. So, we just got another outstanding performance, another great example video that we've been seeing, all night from our exceptional volunteers that have been essentially giving up their, time, skill, and their talent for us tonight. So, like many pavilions, the Pakistan Pavilion celebrates the culture of a very diverse region, stretching from the Himalayas to the Arabian Sea, and is home to over 60 different languages. So this next performance here, represents just one of many styles of folk dance from Pakistan, and will be followed by a cooking demonstration from the Greek Pavilion.
Okay, you know what? This is live, and we've got to know that. Hey, Gabe, this is the wonderful thing. And, we got to think here now. There's something with the Greek. There's something with the Hungarian here. We now went back. Robert, we found that. I know Robert's out there. We found those Hungarian bottles on top of those folks' heads. And, I tell you, now we're going to be thrown to something else for now. And then, you know what? This is what keeps the magic alive in Folkfest, bringing our culture out to you. So, Gabe, what do we got going on here next?
So, like as you may know, the Greek, German, Indian, and the Filipino communities have been with Folkfest since the very beginning. And we're absolutely delighted that they're able to join us again this evening. So they, along with, 50 other pavilions, have witnessed a lot of, various Folkfest firsts, over the past 40-some years. And, with this virtual festival, this is definitely one of them. Now, next up, we got a performance here by Kiela Caldero on behalf of the Central America and Mexico Pavilion, singing the Spanish Mexican song La Cigarra.
Awesome.
Ya no le cantes cigarra, que acabe tu sonsonete, que tu canto aquí en el alma como un puñal se me mete, sabiendo que cuando cantas, pregonando vas tu muerte. Marinero, marinero, dime si es verdad que sabes, porque distinguir no puedo. En el fondo de los mares no hay otro color más negro que el color de mis pesares. Ay, lararí. Ay, larará. Ay, larará. No hay otro color más negro que el color de mis pesares. Un pajarillo al volar que llevaba el pecho herido, ya casi para llorar, me dijo muy afligido, ya me cansé de buscar un amor correspondido. Bajo la sombra de un árbol y al compás de mi guitarra, un canto alegre este guapango, porque mi vida se acaba y quiero morir cantando como muere la cigarra. Ay, lararí. Ay, larará. Ay, larará. Y quiero morir cantando como muera la cigarra.
You know what? That was amazing, marvelous vocals. This is live right now. There's all kinds of things that are happening here in the virtual Folkfest world, and it is, it's an honor to be part of this. And, if you haven't made a donation to the Saskatoon Food Bank, now's your time, because you know what? We could watch this, many can't. Maybe we can be able to share this, but by contributions to the Saskatoon Food Bank, we assure that those essentials are there. As Folkfest gives back, I have somebody with me, Dr. Effie Kutsuyera. Dr. Effie, thanks so much for being part of Folkfest. You're part of the Folkfest board. Where are we going to next here?
We're actually going to China next. Our next
Okay.
performances feature a Qipao dance performed to the song Drim Jianja. The Qipao, or Chang Sam, is a style of dress that was popularized in the 1920s in the city of Shanghai, located in the Jiannan region. The Jiannan literally means south of the river, in this case the Yangtze River. This dance from the Chinese Pavilion, with its origins south of the Yangtze River and performed right here at the heart of South Saskatchewan River, is yet another reminder of the connections we all share.
水蓝蓝，哦，白云深处是故乡，故乡在江南。雨茫茫桥，哦，弯弯，哦，白帆翩翩是梦想，梦想在江南。不知今宵是何时的语言，也不知今夕是何夕的水莲，只愿能化作唐宋诗篇，长眠在你身边。不知今宵是何时的语言，也不知今夕是何夕的水莲，只愿能化作唐宋诗篇，长眠在你身边。桥，哦，弯弯，哦，白帆翩翩是梦想，梦想在江南。不知今宵是何时的语言，也不知今夕是何夕的水莲，只愿能化作唐宋诗篇，长眠在你身边。只愿能化作唐宋诗篇，长眠在你身边。
Okay, that was amazing. You know what, Effie? Seeing that, you know, those beautiful dancing from the Chinese Elegant Dance Class, just so pretty, so beautiful. You know, and now next up from the Indian and Métis Pavilion, you know, we've got something really special here that we wouldn't typically see. We're going to be talking about history and the preparation of a traditional tea, you know, followed by a dance from the Scottish Pavilion. Can you tell us more, Effie? What's going on here?
Well, Lenore, the Indian Métis Pavilion has been part of Folkfest since 1981. As we celebrate multiculturalism and diversity in Saskatoon, it's important to keep in mind the unique position of our Indigenous communities.
Mm-hmm.
Most Folkfest pavilions represent a community that came to the city as settlers within roughly the last century and a half and serve as a way to preserve the heritage of a community that was left behind, as well as to celebrate the ways in which that culture has grown and developed here in Saskatoon. By contrast, the Indian and Métis Pavilion celebrates the cultures and the people who are Indigenous to this land and who have a history which is distinct from the many other cultural communities within our Saskatoon home.
Today we're going to be making Indian tea, also known as bush tea. I am using 3 ingredients: muskeg, also known as Labrador tea, Saskatoon berries, and chaga, which is the mushroom from the birch tree. The muskeg, also known as Labrador tea, is used for respiratory illnesses, sore throat, chest congestion, coughs, or lung infections. The Saskatoon berries are antioxidants, but they also are used to add flavor to the tea. And then the chaga is used to boost immunity. It's also used to treat diabetes, certain cancers, and heart disease. And in order to release the medicinal properties from the chaga, it needs to be in hot water. So we have some boiled water on standby here. So I'm going to go ahead and start the mixture. And while I'm doing that, I just want to let everybody know that I have followed protocol in obtaining these medicines. I have given tobacco for them. And these are, well, the berries are fresh, but the other medicines were harvested last season. And so I'm using about 1/4 cup of muskeg, and I've used about 4 tablespoons of chaga, and as much berries as we would like to use. Now, chaga itself is kind of bitter, so if you would like to add lemon or honey to sweeten, that would be your preference. And for the medicinal properties to be released from the chaga, it has to steep for about 10 to 15 minutes. When I was younger, my grandmother used to tell us not to throw away the stuff that gathered in our mouth from Indian tea, but that we could use it as a poultice for any kind of infection or any kind of bites, like ant or bee bites. And we could apply it to our skin because it was an antibiotic. And something else I wanted to mention about the tea is when you make it and you're out on the land, you just throw it into boiling water on a tripod. But something that goes great in there is the crop from a prairie chicken. So you clean your prairie chicken, and the contents of the crop you can just throw right into the Indian tea because it's just berries and grains. So that also is antioxidants. The teachings that go along with these medicines is that we don't dispose of them down a drain, or we don't throw them in a garbage. Instead, whatever we don't drink, the liquids that are left, we put them in a fire to dispose of them in a good way. But also there is like all of the muskeg and the chaga and the berries that are in here, we ask that they also go to a fire or to a clean place, like the north side of a tree outside of city places.
That was the Glen Lily Highland Dancers. They were kicking up a storm there, doing a little bit of a modern twist on a traditional dance. And we strive in Folkfest to celebrate the fact that culture is a living thing. It grows, it shifts, and it changes right alongside the people and the community it lives within. When you visit a Folkfest pavilion, you experience both the elements of a culture preserved over the decades and the kilometers, and I'll say miles, as well as the distinctive form of that culture that is developed within our own community. So Effie, where are we going from here now?
We are going to be seeing a Bhangra. It's a fusion dance from the India Pavilion, followed by one final cooking demonstration, this time from the German Pavilion. The India Pavilion represents a wide array of cultures found in the world's second most populated country. The Bhangra dancing you will see here is a style of folk dance that originated in the Punjab region and has become popular worldwide.
How to make a Himmelstort. A Himmelstort is a 3-layered cake with cream and raspberries. You'll need to make the dough, the meringue topping, and the cream filling. To start, make the dough by creaming sugar and butter, then adding flour and baking powder. Divide the dough equally into 3 pans. Next, make the meringue topping by beating egg whites with sugar and cinnamon. Divide the meringue equally between the 3 pans, then top with almonds and bake at 350 degrees for 20 minutes. Meanwhile, make the cream filling by beating together cream and sugar, then gently folding in raspberries and crème fraîche. When the cakes have cooled, top the first layer with half of the cream filling, then add the second layer, followed by the remaining filling and the final cake layer. And there you have it, a delicious Himmelstort.
All right, Himmelstort. Now that looks like a great dessert to round out the evening here. You know, we have a few more impressive acts coming up. Thanks to everyone who has celebrated the cultural communities of Saskatoon with us. Make sure you also check out the conversation happening on social media and let us know in the comment section what you've been enjoying. You know, now I've got Kishore here, Kishore Gali, who's our board member here with me. You know, Kishore, what do we got going up here next? I've been so enjoying this. I tell you, I'm getting virtually fat as I sit here. I'm getting tuckered out from dancing, you know, and I'm getting lots of chuckles from all of the folks on the set here. So it's just been an awesome evening, I tell you. Way too much butter, though, I must say.
Well, our next performance comes to us from the Chinese Martial Arts Academy. Do you know that the Chinese Pavilion took part in the very first Folkfest back in 1980, along with 11 other pavilions? I wonder what those original Folkfesters would think if they were told what Folkfest would look like in the year 2020.
Yeah, really interesting.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Muiz and I'm a youth ambassador from the Pakistan Pavilion. Folkfest is a beautiful way to celebrate all the things that make us love this country, the diversity of culture, values, and traditions, in cohesion with an unbreakable unity and acceptance that makes this event so enjoyable and welcoming for everyone. It's immersive, insightful, and incredibly enjoyable for people of all ages and backgrounds. Now, one of the ways we express our identity is through our clothing. When we wear our heritage dress, we foster a sense of common identity with others in our community and signal our pride in our culture to all those who see us.
You know, we are seeing some wonderful stuff here come across, and the cultural dress is so important as part of our folk fest. And you're seeing some of us in our cultural garb as we're here at Anaheim. You know, so when we look at this Kishore, you know, it is so interesting to see the diversity of what we have in front of us and what's about to come up, you know. And here's a fact for everybody that's tuning in right now. Our next performers ordered their dresses, especially from Hungary, and some arrived only the day before they were supposed to record their performance. So that's quite the thing. So Kishore, what else are we learning about this?
Well, as is the case for many cultures, there is a huge amount of variety in dress, as style is specific to a village or a region and to a particular dance. The style of dance you are about to watch comes from Satmar. Many families from this region came to Saskatoon in the 1990s and early 2000s as refugees, and the Hungarian Pavilion wanted to celebrate this special connection.
Már télen fecskét, fehér lábú kis menyecskét csuhajja. Láttam vizén a balkonyba, kezét, lábát a Balatonba most már csuhajja. Láttam vizén a balkonyba, kezét, lábát a Balatonba most már csuhajja.
You know, thank you so much, the Hungarian Pavilion, for that performance here. You know, Kishore, this has been just amazing. I mean, some of the level of the performances that the pavilions have done has just been amazing. So, what are we looking to forward here in this next round?
Well, next up we have some folk music performed by a talented group of musicians from Saskatoon's Bangladeshi community. Some of the instruments you see here originated in the Bengal region, while others the community adopted from different parts of the world and made their own. This is the kind of wonderful cultural exchange that has occurred throughout the history and is at the heart of what we celebrate at Folkfest.
That's awesome.
Hello, Folkfest fans. I'm Laura, and I'm one of the youth ambassadors for the Scottish Pavilion. Folkfest represents the multiculturalism that we have in our community, and being a youth ambassador has allowed me to experience different cultures and share aspects of my own.
Yes, I'm Kira, and this is my brother Gregory.
And we are this year's youth ambassadors for the Greek Pavilion.
We are so excited to be part of Folkfest's Spotlight on Youth. To me, Folkfest means empowering ourselves and each other to continue celebrating Saskatoon's diverse society and multiculturalism.
Folkfest, to me, means educating others on the various cultures here in Saskatoon by eating the food, watching the dancing, and listening to the music. It also brings about a sense of unity between the cultures, which helps foster the inclusiveness among the cultures in our society.
Even though we aren't able to come together in person this year, we hope that watching these performances reminds you that we are always connected through culture.
You know, music is such another key element of the cultural entertainment that's showcased each year at Folkfest. But then couple that with the statements that the youth ambassadors that we just heard made. That's what makes Folkfest. And I know that we're well prepared when we see that. We're well prepared for the future of Folkfest, even amidst these times. So, you know, now I want to go to my colleague and friend, Sam Samavasan. And I always mash your last name up. So for everyone to know your last name, Sam.
Just Sambasivam.
Yeah, there you go. But you know what? We all know you as Sam. You're the guy behind the scenes, but here you are in front to tell us about something important because you know what? You're a kid at heart. And we know that the youth ambassador means a lot to you. So tell us a little bit more about that, Sam.
You heard two of them just now. It was great to hear from them, from so many youth ambassadors. I was very impressed by the thoughts expressed by the young people. I would like to say another sincere thank you for all their hard work representing Folkfest in this unusual year.
Mm-hmm.
Watching them speak and perform, I feel inspired and confident that the future of Folkfest is in strong hands with these young leaders. Next up is a medley from the Saskatoon Pipes and Drums representing the Scottish Pavilion.
Awesome. You know, what a great performance. And I believe that was our biggest band group, Sam, that we were working with this year for that recording. You could see the creative aspects that we had to do to get the social distancing to work for that on camera. Okay, so now, Sam, what do we got going on in this next segment?
And now we have the song Guadalajara from Keila Codillo for from the Central America and Mexico Pavilion. This song is famous example of the mariachi genre that Mexico is renowned for.
Awesome. Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Guadalajara, 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 Guadalajara. Tienes el alma de provinciana, hueles a limpia rosa temprana. A verde cara fresca del río, son mil palomas tu caserío. Guadalajara, Guadalajara, hueles a pura tierra mojada. Colomitos lejanos, ojitos lejanos. Al colomito sin olvidarles como las tardes sin que la lluvia bajo la loma no nos dejaba ir a Zapopan. Tlaquepaque, pueblito. Olorosos jarritos. Hace más fresco el dulce tepache junto a la birria con el mariachi que en los mariachis ya palerías dulce con triste melancolía. Guadalajara, Guadalajara.
Guadalajara, that was great. You know what? You know, Sam, we were just seeing some of the most amazing things, you know, you know, through this whole last few hours. It feels like minutes, but I know it's been for a bit. But what great, you know, I know, hey, like just, can you believe it? But we've got some people that we really need to thank.
Absolutely.
So, Sam, tell us a little bit about that.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank our Folkfest staff team for all the work they have put into making this virtual event a reality. We were fortunate to receive funding from Canada's Summer Jobs Program to employ 3 youth to assist with marketing efforts, digitizing, and coordinating the Youth Ambassador program. I want to make a special mention of our Executive Director, Teresa Sohan, for the enormous job that she has put in last 2-3 weeks, for the kind of evening we have enjoyed this today.
And just a shout out to all of the staff that are here today. Just so much appreciated. You know, and to everybody else and all the volunteers that are in this room, just thank you so much, eh, Sam?
Absolutely.
And we couldn't do that without you guys, so thanks so much. So what do we got coming up right now?
Now, next up, we have a Bollywood-style dance from family members Richu and Tejal, representing the India Pavilion.
That's great.
और सुनना है तो सब्सक्राइब करो टी सीरीज।
Slow it down. एक तेरे संग यारा अख लड़ने लगी, अख लड़ लड़ के आगे बढ़ने लगी। एक तेरे संग यारा अख लड़ने लगी, अख लड़ लड़ के आगे बढ़ने लगी। ओ तेरे दिल के इशारे ये तो पढ़ने लगी, अख लड़ लड़ के आगे बढ़ने लगी। ओ मुंडा जिद पे अड़ा, ओ तेरे पीछे पड़ा।
You know, that was fantastic. You know, once again, you got to note that those two dancers weren't just physically distancing, you know, for the sake of it. They weren't, because they were actually in the same household. So just recall that. You know, we're still in that phase. You know, oh, and by the way, here's this guy, Neil, back, who's, you know, a hockey stick away from me right now. So welcome back to the stage, Neil. You know what? I'm sad to say we're coming to the end here.
We're coming close. We have maybe a few things left to go, and I have to say it's just been awesome. It's been a fantastic evening. Our final pavilion performance this evening is Hard Shoe Irish Dance, performed by the River City School of Irish Dance, and they will be accompanied by Ray Richards, and they will be dancing to Tell Me Ma.
Okay, but you know what? I got to interject. Remember that lasagna I was telling everybody about earlier? That Greek lasagna with the 2 sticks of butter?
We got to eat more?
We got to eat some. We got to virtually eat some. I tell you, this is getting weighted on me, but in a good way, because that's what Folkfest is about. Celebrating, dancing, and my favorite, eating. So we're going to cue them up too at the same time.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Ma, when I get home, the boys don't leave the girls alone. Told me hair and stole me coal, well, that's alright till I get home. She is handsome, she is pretty, and she's the belle of Belfast City. She's a courting 1, 2, 3. Please can you tell me who is she? Her groom says he loves her, and all the boys are fighting for her. Knock at the door, ring at the bell, tell me true love, are you well? Out she comes as white as snow, with rings on her fingers and bells on her toes. Oh, John Morrissey takes to die, doesn't get the fella with the roving eye. Tell me, Ma, when I get home, the boys don't leave the girls alone. Hold me hair and stole me coal, well, that's alright till I get home. She is handsome, she is pretty, and she's the belle of Belfast City. She is a courting 1, 2, 3. Please can you tell me who is she? Let the wind and the rain and the hail blow high, and the smoke come traveling through the sky. She's as sweet as apple pie, and she'll get her own lad by and by. When she gets a lad of her own, she won't tell her ma when she gets home. Let them all come as they will, that's how they're doing, Sheila still. Tell me, Ma, when I get home, the boys don't leave the girls alone. Hold me hair and stole me coal, well, that's alright till I get home. She is handsome, she is pretty, she's the belle of Belfast City. She is a courting 1, 2, 3. Please can you tell me who is she? Tell me, Ma, when I get home, the boys don't leave the girls alone. Hold me hair and stole me coal, well, that's alright till I get home. She is handsome, she is pretty, she's the belle of Belfast City. She is a courting 1, 2, 3. Please can you tell me who is she?
Hi, today we're going to be making pasticcio, which also called Greek lasagna. We're going to be using about 500 grams of penne pasta and let it boil about 10 minutes. And we're going to start making the meat sauce and about 4 cups of extra lean ground beef. Now we can add the onions and garlic. When it starts making that sound, you add the wine, and then you can add some grated cinnamon stick and some nutmeg seed. Also add 1 or 2 bay leaves, and we have a teaspoon of pepper, teaspoon of oregano, a teaspoon of paprika, and a teaspoon of salt, and put it off with about a cup of your favorite broth. After that, we can add about 300 ml of your favorite tomato sauce. Mix it all well, and then you let it all simmers together. But the nutmeg and the cinnamon gives it that unique flavor that pasticcio has. And cover and let it simmer. Then we can start on the bechamel. We're gonna use about 1 stick of butter. And we're gonna add about a cup of flour. I have some room temperature milk. It's about 1 liter. And you pour about 1/3 first, and then you stir it slowly until it gets thickened, and then we add more. Pour some more milk when it gets thick. You can turn off the heat when you see it getting thick. Now let it stand. At this point, you can put the pasta in the pan. Now I'm gonna add some cheese. I have Parmesan cheese here for about 1 spoon. Now the meat sauce is ready to be spread over the pasta. You can add at this point the cheese. This is a Parmesan, about 1 cup. And now we're gonna work on the bechamel. You can add the egg yolk right now for more color. And you can also add a pinch of salt, paprika, and pepper for more color and flavor. And then we're gonna grate again cinnamon. And nutmeg seed. Then we'll add about 1/2 cup of the same Parmesan cheese for more flavor. And we're going to spread it. And you cook it. For this size of pan, you'll need close to 1 hour. This is how it looks like after it's done. It's also better if you eat it the day after, cold. That's the pasticcio Greek lasagna. Thank you.
We are at the end. It's not an end though. You know what?
We're almost at the end.
We're almost at the end, but I've got Neil here. So in this ending, there's lots of people that we need to thank, that made this happen in terms of the sponsors and our funders, so I think we need to recognize them.
I think we do, and I think we should lead off with the city of Saskatoon have been absolutely awesome for us this year.
And then there's the government of Canada.
Yeah. Tourism Saskatchewan, they have stepped up yet again.
Community Initiatives Fund always does their thing, much appreciated.
We have Business for the Arts.
The Multicultural Council of Saskatchewan.
SaskCulture.
Sask Lotteries.
And of course, Sasktel Saskatchewan Jazz Festival.
You know what? And then for anybody that's got their hands in this room right now, put them together from Elias Terra Media and Events. And for the crew that also consists of, I know Dan and his son are here right now. We've got Damien that's here right now, and the camera that's pointing at us. We have Dennis who couldn't be here tonight. Hope everything's well there. And of course, Ian and Deborah, just a special thank you to you guys. So, and if we've missed anyone, our apologies now, but I know we've got Raj and all of the other students that are here. And so just so much, Raj. JC and Jess, thanks so much, because I know you guys have been in this room sweating it along, and Dr. Kalra as well, through the awards has also made this possible. So, that's a special friend of yours too, eh?
He is. Jay is not just a great friend of mine, but Dr. Jay is a great friend of Folkfest.
He totally is.
But we forgot someone that spells like me. Smart Solutions. SMRT.
Yeah, there you go, yeah.
Smart Solutions, and of course, Hub City Display.
Yeah, there you go. There's a couple more. But you know what? Let's talk about that, though, because, it's what makes these festivals happen is the local businesses that give of their time into this, and also all of the other organizations and corporations and that see things like this and know that it's worth contributing to because the reach is so far. So the way that we can reach back is by reaching back out to them, and also let's give back, because this is all about tonight, about giving back. The food bank, that is who we are designating tonight. If you haven't given any funding yet and you've got a little bit extra to spare, That matters. If you got to drop off some food to the food bank, do that. Do that because it matters. And right now in these COVID times, that's the kind of thing that Folkfest wants to do, is give back to the community that has given so much as volunteers, as staff, and otherwise into this festival to make it what it is. So we hope that everybody enjoyed tonight. It's been an honor, Neil, to be alongside of you and alongside of all of our board doing this tonight and alongside of the crew here. And I can't wait for what we're going to have to roll this out tonight.
So is it from a Folkfest board point of view, I have to have Winnie, Robert, Effie, Kishore, Sam, Gabe, Lenore, thank you very much for your support this year. It has been absolutely awesome. We could not do this without a very active board, without a very active staff, and I'm pretty sure you want to talk to the staff. We have Teresa, Jessica, Jackie, and Balraj?
It's Raj.
Just Raj.
We call him Raj.
We
It's
just
full
call him Raj.
Yeah,
okay.
Sure.
So that being said, I think we've been through other things. We just need to rock it out now, and we're going to put it right back to Oral, Fuentes. Let's take us out. Let's rock us out of this place.
Rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up now. Rise up, Jaja people, rise. 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 Working from 9 to 5. Working till the sun don't shine. I didn't realize I didn't have a song. Working for the man, working for the man, working for the man, working for the man. So I say, rise up, Jaja people, rise. 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 What I have, I'm gonna give to you. If I have a lot, I'm gonna give that too. It doesn't take a lot, so I've got to give what I've got. Working for the man, don't just be working for the man. Working, working for the man. No stopping, smell the roses. Don't just be working for the man. Working for the man. Working for the
Rise up, Jaja people rise. 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 Rise up, Saskatchewan, rise up. I wake up this morning, I'm feeling so down. I didn't even have a song. Then the music, it take control. I set a fire within my soul. I wanted to walk it off, run through town, run around. I can't sit down. Man, I say, say fire day, fire day, say fire day. You say fire day, say fire day, fire day, say fire day, fire day. Why? Like Jeremiah, I feel the fire. No water, gonna out this fire. I feel like walk it up, run through town.